Diana Mardarovici, GCI Vice President in 2018, GCI European Development Council Chairwoman in 2019, entrepreneur, businesswoman, marketer, and active citizen, organizer of the first Balkan Conference, 11 participating countries. She has been actively involved with GCI since 2012. Diana has over 15 years of experience in business development, marketing, sales, media, and project management. From organizing football matches to managing e-commerce projects, the wide range of her experience offers a unique perspective on business and community projects. Founder of Business Development and Sales, Yellow Marketing and Sales.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you.
Hello, Diana. Welcome to the
greetings.
conference. The stage is yours for the next 20 minutes.
Perfect.
Go ahead.
Greetings from Bucharest. And whoever can turn on their camera, I would really appreciate seeing some faces, because unlike professors from the Soviet Union, where I was as well born in Chisinau, I hate speaking on my own. So I would appreciate if you guys can turn on your cameras and participate and engage throughout my short masterclass, however you see fit. What I wanted to talk to you today, and I don't know if we have any economists here. Do we have some? The crowd is roaring. I wanted to talk to you guys about behavioral economics and its applications. This is a new field in economics that started about, should I say, 20 years ago, with some rogue economists who decided that economics was at that point not really covering enough in science to explain the phenomena happening in the markets and in business. So if you, like me, have gone to economics school, you have learned about the magical invisible hand of Adam Smith. So in that theory, in the classic economic theory, what happens is that markets magically fix themselves through supply and demand with no need of outside intervention. So basically, there's a need for a product, we put the product out there, and magically the prices balance out, everything works out, supply, demand, and markets develop. In an ideal world, that would happen, and no regulatory intervention from the state or from any other participant in civil society would be needed. But examples from history show that actually it doesn't work out that way. So according to a book that I recommend to everyone, Why Nations Fail, you will see that actually creating context is essential for healthy business and for wealth that is available to all people. It is a matter of creating opportunity. What does the book say? Basically, as you will see in this graph, some countries after the first industrial revolution have had a galloping development in economics and in wealth. That hasn't happened to all continents and all countries. Basically, what the common grounds for economic development are is, first of all, secure property rights. We need to know that if we own something, it stays with us and our family. And people like me, born in the Soviet Union, know it very well that it's very important to be able to own something that is your own, that you worked for. Law and order, markets and state support with public services, open and free entry, relative free entry of new businesses, upholding of contracts, and access to education and opportunity for the great majority of citizens. Most societies, unfortunately, throughout history and today, are ruled by extractive economic institutions, and that means that they are designed so by the political elites to extract resources from the rest of society. And that does not ensure excellent development on the long term. Now you're asking me, so what can we do about it? Both on a microeconomic level and on a macroeconomic level. Well, let me tell you. these amazing economists who have been Nobel laureates have started basically a new field. It is called behavioral economics. And they are putting the under scrutiny Adam Smith's theory about this ideal, rational, economic human who knows what the best choice is under any circumstance and always acts rationally. Well, let me tell you, if we as humans would always act rationally, there would be no lotteries, because the lotteries, playing the lottery, is irrational in itself. We wouldn't have sales. We wouldn't have different colors for products, because those are irrational choices. But the markets thrive due to the fact that we are humans and not econs. We are people who act out of very, very different incentives. And this is a field in economics that is interdisciplinary. So basically, psychologists, sociologists, anthropologists, and neuroscience combines with economics to explain and study why certain people make certain decisions so that we can intervene and influence behavior in one direction or the other without creating the paternalistic state, as we have had in history, who decides for you what colors you should like, what products you should buy, how much you should eat, or where you should live. So how do we create that wanted behavior? And now we're talking about very small things, such as picking up after your dog on the street, or huge things as trying to incentivize people to consume less electricity, or incentivizing people to save appropriately for retirement. As we know, the population of the world is getting older, and states will no longer be able to support such a huge social load economically. We need to teach people to start saving early without necessarily making that an obligation. So all those questions. What are the trends? On a global level, you will see that at a European Union level, what has happened is that there were numerous public policy labs created to collaborate with the academic field, with the business field, with civil society and government. And I saw that Moscow also has such a department to create better solutions for people, to create labs where policies will be based on research and not on intuition, or intervention would happen after research and not the other way around, as it has happened in the past many times before. You will find that the interesting point that this map in 2016 with all the policy labs around Europe also coincides with the level of innovation and the top scorers when it comes to public policy labs are also the top innovators in Europe. Creating context. Normally, how policy or intervention in a market, or even you in your business, or most definitely you in JCI when creating a project, what we should start is with current behavior. And you also know our wonderful model of asking why. So start observing behavior. I know we are young. I also know we have a lot of energy. And I also know how much we want to start intervening. Many times, choosing to start with the project before starting at the grassroots level, asking if there is a need for this project and if this project is aiming at the right root causes. Our active citizens framework is also a simplified version of this recommendation. Basically, where we should start, both in our business, because I know what happens, I have a master's degree in marketing, and we're always taught Aim for your ideal customer. Let me tell you, my ideal customer is a person who walks in the room holding 3,000 euros in cash, puts it on the table and says, well, Diana, you're so wonderful and so smart. Won't you just advise me for 5 hours and then I'll leave you all this money and that's it. So that doesn't really happen in reality, does it? You have to chase your customers. You have to convince that your competence and your skill level are worth the money that you're charging them for a strategy or for your consultancy. So I urge you to never aim for your ideal customer, because that ideal customer most likely does not exist. Ideal humans do not exist. Aim for real customers. Aim for people who actually will purchase your product. Think of your business or your project or even a public policy that you want to change in the context of making it consumer-centric. So no longer think about how wonderful you are, because we are all wonderful. Think about it differently. How or why would somebody recognize this product as being awesome? How much would a real person pay for this product? And how can I use simple nudges to make this product successful? I know a lot of my clients are stuck for months at the most irrelevant thing, should I say, maybe I'm exaggerating. I wouldn't say the most irrelevant thing, but one thing that matters very little when starting a business: the logo. People love to make logos. Let me tell you guys, unless you're a huge brand, the logo will matter very little. Start focusing on the product and the market, because the logo, first of all, can be changed with some exceptions. And secondly, it is very unlikely that you will fail or you will be successful because of a logo. But spending too much time procrastinating on it might actually cause you to be unsuccessful in your business. So please, as a marketer, stop obsessing about logos. Focus on customers. Nudges. Let me give you some international examples of what worked. So as you see, in Amsterdam, they have installed in the men's room a little fly that men instinctively have tried to aim for while urinating. And that has reduced spillage by 80%. So the need to clean the bathroom was reduced, the costs were reduced, and the satisfaction of people using bathrooms in Amsterdam's Schiphol airport, that is very big, has significantly increased. This is an example of understanding your consumer, so to speak, and using something very simple, very cheap to solve a huge problem. The same goes for incentives to eat your vegetables. And they actually put down on the floor in markets little arrows to lead you to the green aisles. And it has increased footfall. More so in the United States, in cafeterias in school, they noticed that if they put the healthy foods first and the unhealthy foods second, children eat better. Think about your consumers. It makes a huge difference. As you can see, these are very simple ideas on the screen of how to convince people to behave well. And you will see this is a way of reducing a paper waste, because making this square doesn't make the toilet paper roll out. So these are very simple design ideas, and we're talking about choice architecture. that can make a difference both environmentally and for saving money in a business. For example, in a business, there's the so-called decoy effect. What does that mean? Why do you think restaurants will have a steak that is rather expensive, on the expensive side, in the menu next to a very expensive steak? Because by comparison, the steak that they actually want you to buy is not the most expensive steak. They want you to feel like the steak that you're buying is cheap compared to the other one. So, because in itself, the product would seem expensive. By comparison, suddenly you're getting a bargain. So think about those things. It's hugely important. Think about your business as an outsider. Think about behavior as an outsider. And do get involved with very simple nudges. On an economic level, what made a huge difference at one point was the sending letters. So how they tested this theory in the UK, the tax return, the big bad tax people, seeing that people are late on the taxes, tried one of the cheapest methods ever to get people to pay their taxes in time. So they sent a bunch of different, these economists doing the experiment, sent a bunch of different letters to people who were late on their taxes. One would say that the majority of people, 80% of the people, already paid their taxes, and please be like the majority, basically behave. And other letters would just say, pay your taxes, you are a bad citizen, and so on and so forth. So what happened is that a very small investment in letters actually yielded to people paying their taxes, the people that received the letter with the 80% paying their taxes within 3 days to 1 week, because people wanted to be a part of the good citizens. People normally tend to want to be congratulated on their behavior. The same goes for another country that tried to send electricity bills together with a smiley face. And the smiley face would be sad if your electric consumption would be above average, and would be happy if it would be below average. So what happened is that it really worked on people starting to be aware of how much electricity they use and how much electricity they're actually wasting. The point I'm trying to make, and I really hope that in this very short session, I will get through to you how big of a difference truly understanding human behavior, accepting real human behavior without expecting ideal economists or ideal clients would make a difference for you, your business, your community, and your whole country. This is also an example of small business use of nudges. See, the most popular, people tend to click on the most popular product. I thank you so much for your attention, and hopefully we have some time for questions.
Thank you, Diana, very much for all the nudges you shared with us. And yes, we have some time for the questions. The first question would be about startups. You have mentioned that they should not pay too much attention to the logo in the beginning. But we know when startup comes to the market, sometimes they only have some assumptions about their customers, and they don't know very well their customers yet. So how would you recommend to young startups to get to know their customers and adapt their behavior to the needs of their customers?
Thank you so much for your question. Well, what I can say is that if your product is truly innovative and you cannot base your research on other similar products, so basically do study your market. If your product is hugely innovative, you will have no research or no other competitors to lean your product or your pricing or your strategy on. So it is trial and error. In any A/B testing is also available online that can be done rather cheaply right now, especially if there are products that are technology products. Test it out there. There is a reason that in the product development or service development cycle, there's a time for testing. You should test your product, you should test your idea, and you please always accept the answer. It might not be the answer you were hoping for. It might not be the answer you were looking for. It has happened to me when I started out in business. I was actually shocked because I was sure that my way of doing business will be applauded and there would be a red carpet waiting for me. And I was shocked to find out. And you know what happened? I went back to the blackboard and said, you know what? I talked to so many people. They're not buying into my services. What am I doing wrong? And it led to changing my business accordingly. So yeah, test it out.
Okay, and can you share a little bit more of your experience about that pivot you met when you realized that customer does not respond to your initial offer?
My fails are greater than my successes. Basically, I worked for a very long time in advertising and media agencies. So when I started my own media agency, I was so sure that customers would be very happy to find out how I'm spending their money in detail. Basically, for me to show to them that I'm not stealing their money, that their money is well spent. So I would be very transparent with my basically with my charges, with the how much money I'm paying others, how much money is going on each media. Nobody cared. What the customer cared is how much it costs me and what the results for them will be. How it's done is absolutely irrelevant to them. And they have a good point. They don't care about my business. They care about their business. So yeah, it didn't work out. And then I changed it all and I said, this is how much money you're giving to me, and this is what I will give you for this money. And it has worked wonderfully since.
Yeah, great. Thank you for sharing. And maybe last question about books. Would you recommend us some books about behavioral economics, which would not be very academic, but accessible for a person who is not economic oriented?
The beauty of behavioral economics and these guys who wrote Nudge, that's how it's called, the book, and the Nobel laureates. And I very much believe what Einstein said: if you cannot explain a theory simply, then you don't know it yourself. So Nudge is a wonderful book. I have absolutely enjoyed it to the last page. I highly recommend it. Also, Why Nations Fail, also Misbehaving, by the same authors. And please contact me if you need any other recommendations. And What Works, by a woman, a professor at Harvard, about gender discrimination and policies that work to reduce it.
Diana, thank you very much for your presentation, for the participation in our conference. Good luck in all your projects, and I invite the audience to contact Diana on social nets. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.